Hello again, and thank you for tuning in to another one of my world famous rants. So, uh, I put out my review of Small World yesterday. You should go check it out. It was pretty great. Uh, and so I was talking with my friend about it, and this particular friend that I have, he's very into politics, and he's very right. And so we were talking, and of course, it devolved into a political discussion. I'm Yeah, a lot of people try to avoid political discussions, but I disagree. I think that it's a good way to learn learn something about someone. So we were talking, and he started to bring up Syrian refugees, right? And I said, "Oh yeah, no, we should totally let more refugees in. People need a home. People need a place to go after their country's been torn apart by war." But him being him, he started talking about the threat of terror, and immigrants are going to tear Canada apart, and that that there could be terrorists amid the group, amid the bunch of immigrants who are trying to tear the country apart for their religion. And then he made the Trump Skittles analogy, where like you have the bowl of Skittles, but a few of them are poisoned. So would you reach in and grab some of the Skittles? And so I thought about that for a while, and I realized, that analogy doesn't make any sense, because if you're having a bowl of Skittles, a tiny poison Skittle isn't going to kill you, right? Like, or to put it into the actual perspective, if you're going to let in, say, 2,000 immigrants, and maybe three of them are terrorists. Are three terrorists really going to be able to set up a terrorist attack, get through Homeland Security, and be able to do that much damage that is considered a poisonous Skittle? No. I mean, the things that stop terrorist attacks are, like, the things that stop terrorist attack are intelligence services and investigation. Okay? Intelligence, investigation, and emergency response. Alright? So those things are very heavily invested in Canada. We have CSIS. We have really great emergency response services, and plus, all for letting in more refugees. I think it's a great thing to do, but of course we're going to screen them. Of course we're going to do that. Like, why wouldn't you screen somebody who's coming in from another part of the world happens to be war torn or terrorist? It's just a precaution, So if you're going to screen them and they're still going to somehow get by, and are going to be able to bring whatever equipment they need for a terrorist attack, and be able to coordinate with other terrorists, no, that isn't going to happen. It's so unlikely. There's no evidence that an immigrant has ever been able to cause a terrorist attack, because we do have a good system for screening. And besides, last year, yeah, like how long? 2 years ago now? Yikes! Last year, 2 years ago, who cares? The Parliament Hill shooting. Yes, that was allegedly tied to the Islamic State, but he wasn't an immigrant. He was just there. He was just visiting the country. Like, he was not a registered citizen or resident of Canada. So the odds of that happening are so unlikely, which is why you can't use the skills analogy, because even if they managed to coordinate a terrorist attack and they're able to kill, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, that isn't going to take down the system. It's going to be responded to heavily. The media's going to cover it. Yes, it's going to be an attack on Canadian soil, but it isn't going to bring down the machine, which is why the Skittles analogy doesn't make sense. That's that. Another thing I want to talk about. For every one terrorist that there may or may not be in Syria, and everywhere else where ISIL has taken over, where ISIL was taken over, there are thousands and thousands of innocent people who have been displaced, whose homes have been destroyed by terrorist attacks, who just want to flee the country leave behind everything they have to start a new life where their kids might be safe. And just because of a few extremists, you're not going to let them in. Like the people you see like in the media who are loaded onto these boats and packed tensely together, trying to possibly get over the Mediterranean. They are not terrorists. They are not. No terrorist is going to go to that extent to get onto a boat with dozens of other people in a boat in a very unsafe conditions just to maybe cross the Mediterranean Sea and set off a bomb. That is not going to happen. That's not how terrorism works. Terrorism is designed to strike fear into hearts of people, and if they're not that dedicated to it, doing it overseas that they're going to send people across the boat. Even now, ISIL is losing on all fronts. The war on terror is going to be over. The drone system is working, and so if we continue to have these rules in place, we're simply allowing ISIS or ISIL or whatever you may call it to cause more chaos and inflict more terror. Like, think about it. If we don't let people out of where ISIL still stands, and they kill more people, they're going to do it more drastically to try to strike more terror into people in their last dying breaths. So in reality, if we do let them out of their countries and let them come to Canada or the U.S. or wherever it may be, they are simply harming them. And because ISIL is losing on all fronts, they're not plotting to send more terrorist attacks overseas. No, they are keeping their man. They're an army. You got to admit that they have tacticians. They're thinking like an army, and so thinking we can't have an offensive because the best offense is a good defensive. So if they're sending guys overseas, then they're going to lose the fight even faster. So we need to relax the immigration systems. We need to let more Syrian refugees in, more good people in who can contribute to the economy and flee their homes. I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But I don't understand why people are opposed to letting in immigrants. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because, I mean, humans at their heart, they are civilized people. They work together. They want to do what's best for everybody. So if maybe you're thinking, oh, that's going to affect me, unlikely. If you live in like Victoria, and like immigrants who are coming to Ontario are not going to affect you. It's not going to affect you. Don't lie. You're just trying to suppress the immigrants. I don't understand why you would not want immigrants in if there's no risk of terrorist attacks on home soil. Yeah, like I said, humans at their heart are good people. I truly believe that everyone has some good inside of them. So to that extent, we are all have an inner intention to help people, right? So why aren't we helping them? Why aren't we doing what we need to do to let more people into the country? Just sorry. That's all for this time. It's just a really heavy issue that I really am a firm, supporter of letting in more refugees. We need to realize that terrorism isn't a threat in the first world, and we need to reduce the threat in the third world by A, fighting the terrorists, and B, getting people out of there. That's all.